I know we go through, yes, right here. So in lessons 17, we review the spellings, digraphs. So we practice digraphs and then we practice sister sounds. So let me look at lesson 17. Too far. Here it is. Okay. So review the spelling. Okay, so we go back to talking about the house. So whenever you have a square and a triangle, it's separate, and it represents that with C and H, and then when you put them on top of each other, it represents a house, and it works together to be a diagram. So it does talk about that in lesson 17.
So thinking about that, and thinking about how that was sort of a whole group, how do we give them extra support when we get to that lesson? What steps?
So I think just maybe teaching them the feel of that sound when it's coming out of their mouth.
Yes.
So
How should it look?
articulation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what about reassessing to make sure they get it?
There should be, so there's a back on that worksheet where so they trace it and practice it, but on the back it has words, so we can also use that as like a reassessment, but pulling those words from it.
You know, we've had the conversation too about how Unit 1 does not have an assessment at the end.
Yeah.
So where could we look maybe to find a supportive tool for us to maybe be able to reassess and work with?
So also, like, it doesn't call for us to do small groups there, but that might be a good time to find a place to do a small group.
So, Chelsea, you said the ARG. So
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you something that we have found in the ARG, and I had put it on the slide, so you can find it there. But in the ARG, there are some progress monitoring. Progress monitoring that you can use, especially since that unit does not go back to reassess. So I want to know if they got it or not. There is a progress monitoring. It's actually progress monitoring 10. So if you find it, it will reassess. And it's really quick. It's a really quick assessment for those kids to see if they actually got the diagram. So that might be something that you want to consider when you finish up that unit.
Okay.
Is to find that progress monitor, and I'll give you the page number so that you can look at it to see if you think it would be beneficial. I think it's page 90, and it will go back and reassess. So that might be something you want to use.
Yeah, and it has.
So it's on page 90. Okay. So it even puts in that TH, you've got that QU, which a lot of them it looked like had trouble with.
They
wanted to say.
Well, and they
isolation
struggle with the Q sound in general, so that might be a good
So
thing.
this might be like one of the next steps that you would take after Unit 1 is to go back and reassess, to see who has it or not.
Is there additional lessons besides 17
Let me go back.
that lend themselves to some of the things that they were having trouble with?
Yeah, I think after 17,
Yeah, I mean it's all
through
reviewing
the
the
end of
spelling.
Unit, all through the end of Unit 1, right?
Yes. To review a lot of those sister sounds and zzz, like feeling those vibrations is there, and it even brings out the mirrors in some of those lessons.
Which is what you were saying, making sure they could see it.
Yes, I'll
So
make
you can
that
add the
helpful.
mirrors at any point. Any point it teaches a new sound, you can always add those mirrors so they can see the, like you said, articulation.
So we've got lesson 17 that has diagrams.
Lesson 18.
Lesson 18. So making sure that
Double
when we
letters.
do get to those lessons, that we are being really explicit.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
So this would be a really important time too to think about your annotations of those lessons
Yes.
and notes that you may need to make. And if you're pulling in mirrors, like adding that in, making sure you're finding supports.
We can look at those too and see what all materials we need.
Yes, for
Because
sure.
we'll do that, the next week?
Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
starting here,
So
so
we'll do
yeah,
that next
it's
week.
coming up.
Yeah. So we can plan that and make sure we have all those materials.